50% market share worldwide. And that's why I decided it was kind of a good idea to learn Japanese, because I figured, at least with that I would always kind of be employable. And then in the early 1990s, I went to work in the DRAM department in Toshiba, and at the time they were the #1 manufacturer of DRAMs in the world. And that was right after the bubble economy, after the bubble had burst. And I think at that point nobody quite realized what that meant. I think in the subsequent 25 years we found out what that meant, and particularly what that meant in the semiconductor industry. And so there are many, many reasons why the industry has declined since then. Some of them we look at things like the rise of the IBM PC, right? So that killed NEC with the PC-98, and similarly for mainframes from companies like Fujitsu. And then just there was less agility, I think, in the consumer electronics space than we saw from companies like Samsung or more recently Apple, where the design across, to produce a hit product, you need to be much more nimble than traditionally we saw across Japanese companies. And so if you look now, there's basically 3 Japanese semiconductor companies that are left that are in the top 20. So I thought it'd be interesting to just kind of look at what those 3 are and what they've done and why they've survived as long as they have as sort of first-year players. And so the first one is my old employer, Toshiba, and really what's kept them in the business for so long is flash memory. They're the #2 producer of flash behind Samsung. And so if you sort of ask yourself how they got in that position, the short answer is they invented it, right? And so they did the early work in the 1980s, and they basically invested in it ever since. And so, from an innovation or technology transfer point of view, they certainly were reading the journals and corresponding with their colleagues here. But at the end of the day, they invented that technology, and they've sort of stuck with it all the way through. So certainly that's one path, and I think in a lot of ways that's a path that's ideally suited to a Japanese company with, very long willingness to invest over long timelines and lots of patience. It was a long time basically before flash making memory. The second company that's still in the top 20 is Sony, and the primary thing that's kept them there is imagers. And this one is a little bit more of a technology transfer story. It's not necessarily one from Silicon Valley. But the original imager technology they picked up from Bell Labs. Bell Labs, as with the transistor, had invented something really cool and hadn't quite figured out what to do with it, or for legal reasons was not allowed to. So they picked up the technology. At that time, Bell Labs would actually let people come in and tour, and so they explained everything. The researchers at Bell would explain everything about how these devices, these charge-coupled devices, worked. And the Japanese guys wrote everything down. They read all the journals, and then they went back to Tokyo, and they did the really hard work of actually making the thing manufacturable. And that's, you see that pattern many times with Sony. They did it with magnetic tape, they did it with CCDs, and they did it originally with a transistor. And because of that, they really managed to hold on to that business. This was in the 1970s, and they own like 45% market share for imagers. So, chances are the phone in your pocket still has a Sony imager in it, because they make the best ones in the world. So I think that was a case of taking technology that had been really produced by somebody else and making it your own and sort of making it the best. And the third company that's still in the top 20 is Renesas. And Renesas was a company that was made by combining, I think it was Hitachi, Mitsubishi, and NEC, their electronics pieces. And the thing that's really kept them in the game is the automotive industry. And so, Japan has and continues to have a very strong automotive business. And because of that sort of strong domestic presence, Renesas has been able to make a go of it going forward. So those are kind of 3 interesting strategies. And so we can sort of see how they managed to succeed. I guess I would throw in one other one, which also has kind of a Bay Area tie-in. If you look at SoftBank, right? Masayoshi Son, he has a degree from Berkeley, and I think some of his thinking around forming his company was really based on what he learned here in the Silicon Valley. Those are a little bit more of a wild card, right? It's hard to sort of predict where the next SoftBank is going to come to, and I think we have a certain amount of survivor bias, right? There's a lot of people that came through with that same idea and never sort of made anything to it. So I guess I'm not quite sure how to succeed, because I'm in the chip business, and it has not been notably successful with Japan in the last 25 years. But I can give you a couple tips on maybe how not to succeed. The first thing would be, don't try to be what you're not, right? So as an example, Sony is not a social network, right? And so if you look at a company like Facebook, that was built from the ground up to be a social network, right? And that's why they're just a machine for execution. It's very hard for an older company to sort of pick that up. And the second thing I think that you have to be really cautious about is chasing the latest thing, right? So in Silicon Valley, we have Uber and we have Snapchat and all these. It's not clear to me how replicable those are sort of outside of the context, and whether there's enough, you can get the execution velocity that's really required to be successful in it. I think there are some geographies where that might be possible. I don't really think that Japan is necessarily one of them. So I think what you need to do going forward is look at what are the interesting technologies that are coming out of Silicon Valley, and how do you apply them to the business that you're in. And I think the classic one from the last 4 or 5 years is machine learning. Google, that's been a tremendous asset across the board in many different segments. And there's articles we've published on Translate and Playing Go and saving power in data centers. And I think for most of the people in this room, there's probably industrial processes and other things where you have the training data, you have the information, so you could be basically the best in the world by adopting that technology. So I guess I would encourage those of you in the room and our panelists to sort of look at those kinds of opportunities to apply a technology to new fields, as opposed to trying to copy the business that someone in Silicon Valley has created.
Right. Well, thank you for your insight, Alex and Don. So now that we've set the stage, let's hear from the Japanese companies who are currently working in innovation in Silicon Valley.
Hello, my name is Yasushi Komori from Gree VR Capital. So today I try to give you in the view of the IT tech companies. And let me explain a little bit of my background. So I was graduated from the Waseda University business degrees. And also I joined the Gree 7 years ago. So seven years old in the IT companies, so really super old. So, so I'm maybe a top 100 oldest guy in the Gree company. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm working at the Gree for 4 years in Japan, starting from the server-side engineer and also doing the game product management for the social game. Probably you may know some games. So yeah, I'm doing the Japanese game product management. Then after that, so 3 years ago, so I moved to San Francisco, and I also worked as a Gree International Inc. for the same role, Gree game product manager for social games in the United States. Then after that, so 9 months ago, I joined the Gree VR Capital, now doing the investment for the virtual reality and augmented reality, really so new technology. I'm really excited about this growth. Let me explain the what Gree are doing in the United States. So I think that there's not so many companies survive in the US from Japan. So actually, around 2010 or 2011, 2020, there's a couple of the Japan IT tech company coming to the San Francisco Silicon Valley, but not so many companies survive at this point. I think the Gree is one of the rare cases survive this really competitive environment. Here is the really simple structure of what we're doing. Left side Japan and right side in the United States. Left side, so Gree Japan is doing a lot of things. Still, core business is mobile game development. Also doing the advertisement, video, also non-game lifestyle and mobile video stuff. Also doing the investment. The right side, the United States. United States is completely focused on the mobile game development. Under the mobile game development, we have the 3 branches: US headquarters, also EU office, also Australia development office. The interesting is those 3 studios mostly from the acquired company. So Gree United States is mostly based on the acquired company. Also, interesting is the investment side. So investment side is so U.S. investment function is fully operated by the Japan headquarters. I belong to the investment side in the United States. I'm now belongs to the Japan organization. It's really interesting stuff. Please go to the next slide. Okay. Here is the US strategy, what we think. So simply, we have the two strategy. Acquire a company to make business faster. So when we come to the US, it's 2011. So when Japanese company come to US and 2010 or 11, already there's a lot of US IT tech companies there. So how can challenge this situation? Then we actually started to expand, grow Green business by organic. So bring the Japanese people here and develop the game, develop the service almost by Japanese management. It's fact. Then we more like move to the strategy. Then acquire the company called OpenFame 2011, Panjo 2012. These two companies are more like a fundamental of the current company. Then also we are trying to acquire the Twitch, Australian-based company. This is more like a development studio. Also, we also acquired the Dragon, so it's completely content itself. So we bought a lot of company, and our current US company is really based on the acquired company. Also, second too, we because of our pay 2011, so we give the most of the management or most of the handle to the board or everything to the local management staff. So only one Japanese in the management area, also less than 10 Japanese people in the US office. So here gives you merit and demerit. Actually, merit is obvious. So speed is really faster, probably compared to any other Japanese company, really fast. Also, deep understand the local market. So even game to understand the local culture, local market is super important to run in the game. So no Japanese understand the US culture, why they like zombie. So even we don't know. Do you have answer about that? Yeah, so probably no Japanese understand why zombie is so exciting. But that's why we acquired the company that's running the game, they're shooting the zombie. And also local network. So local network also super important. Hiring, marketing, business development, the investment side. I'm actually belong to the investment side, so I'm fully running by the Japan organization, but physically located in the US office. There's a lot of local there. I got a lot of connections. I got a lot of introduction from them. So easily going to the US connections. We also we more like a unfair position compared to the other Japan companies. We invested to the a lot of the US company, also a virtual reality, augmented reality company. The function, so investment function in Korea is like we actually invested maybe 20 or 25 US companies so far. That we are not thinking directly synergy to the Japan headquarters, but through the investment, we are more like collecting the information, collecting the trend, then give back to the Japan headquarters. Then Japan headquarters thinking about what is the most like number one trend in the Silicon Valley. Then started their business in Japan. This is what we think. But instead, there's one demerit. So this is I would like to learn today. So less synergy between Japan and US organizations. So actually, US office is completely running by the US locals. So therefore, it is difficult to bring the Japan practice to the US market. Also, opposite side also very difficult to bring the US practice to the Japan. So investment works well, but the business side, I feel a little bit difficult to do that. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Can you hear me? Oh, all right. Hi. I'm Nick Sugimoto. I've been living in the Valley since 1994, so maybe I'm pretty much localized already. So should be sitting between these two guys. Yeah, I grew up in Japan. I went to college in Japan. I was pure Japanese. I am still, but I came here in 1994 to go to school, UC Berkeley MBA. My classmate is sitting there. And since then, I decided not to go back. So after graduation, I started my own .com company and ran that for 5 years, which was funded by a Japanese company. Eventually, I sold the company to that investor, Japanese company, and then I started venture investment consulting work as an independent for several years. And 2005, Honda came to me and asked me to join when they were starting corporate venture capital program in the Valley. So I joined. So it's been 12 years since I joined Honda. So I'm not a typical expat or transferee from Japan. I'm a local hire, so I'm counted as a foreigner. Yeah, that's me. I'm now heading the Honda's innovation team in Mountain View, Honda Innovations. Yeah, we have a couple of dozen people working for me. Honda came to the Valley around the year 2000, so it's been a while, like 15, 17 years or so. They started as a totally purely research office, so they sent a few PhDs from Japan, studied computer science research office in Mountain View, and they did some collaboration with the universities here. Then they kind of realized, oh, this place is not just universities and academia and smart people. This is a mecca of startups. So that's why they decided to start Open Innovation Program. So by starting corporate venture capital, and that's the time I joined. So Honda has been doing open innovation for like almost 15 years in the Valley. We started as a corporate VC because we had no idea how to enter this community. So maybe wearing an investor hat could help. That was our hope. And we were a very small team, like 4 people, knocking at the door of Sun Hill investors' offices. And back then, many venture capitals were saying, what, a car company in the Valley? What are you doing? Because they know car R&D cycle usually takes 5 years. Startups could even already have exited by 5 years, this foundation. So yeah, they thought car is not really a good fit for the Valley. So yeah, but we found many interesting technologies from startup community, and we coordinated. We made some investments on the. Also, we coordinated joint development, joint research type of projects between the companies we found here and our R&D teams in Japan. We did that for 5 years or so, and yeah, during that time, clean tech was a big boom back then. And so all of a sudden, venture capitalists start calling me, "Hey Nick, we found an interesting electric vehicle company. What do you think?" So this way, we kind of started building a network among the venture investor community as well as entrepreneur community. And so we built a network, we sourced new deals, and we made some investments, but not many. We coordinated a number of collaborations, over several hundred. And some actually went into our products, and some were actually adopted by our IT department for our enterprise network and infrastructure. So we are very happy about the result. Then we kind of thought about our performance. What we accomplished was we built a capability and network in the Valley. So yeah, we can source new deals and we can support collaboration. We understand how investors think. We understand how entrepreneurs think. What's their strategy and how they pivot often. So so we sort of became, Honda's expert in the venture community. But the challenge was, we were dealing with our colleagues in Japan, and obviously they are working on according to their schedule. Obviously, car R&D takes 5 years, so everything is set 5 years in advance. So whatever we find is disruption, of course. So they hated us. So we missed some opportunity, very interesting opportunity. We really wish to really work together, but our Japan team couldn't really keep up. So we decided to transform the local venture capital team into Open Innovation Lab. So we can build a prototype or POC. Not entirely all the way to the end of product development, of course. That takes a number of people and big effort. So yeah, we built a small team by sending a few more engineers from Japan and also hiring local engineers here, focusing on connected customer experience. So that was around year 2011. So yeah, we kind of transformed our team from corporate VC into prototype lab. We partnered with many startups as well as big guys like Google and Apple and more, of course. We introduced many interesting new technologies, and one example is smartphone integration with a car called Android Auto and CarPlay. If you bring your iPhone or Android phone to your car to actually recent Honda vehicles, you can actually connect to the car screen, and you can actually use your data in your phone on the car screen via voice interface. So you can safely send and receive text messages, navigate to your destination, listen to your favorite music, phone calls, making phone calls, taking phone calls, of course, and a bunch of more. So those are small examples, and we did many, many more. Honda management was really happy about the outcome, probably happier than what we did as a corporate VC. So they decided to incorporate my team as a separate entity in April. Now we are under Honda umbrella, working pretty much bigger autonomy and more resources to bring in disruptive innovations into Honda. Yeah, what we're interested in, whatever coming from Silicon Valley that disrupts auto industry. Well, not just auto, actually. We are not just car company. 80% of our revenue is car, actually. But 15% is motorcycle, and the rest is other things, like lawnmower, power generators. globally, about 45% of our revenue comes from North America, so this market is very important. So whatever that changes our business or changes our customers' experience is our high interest area. Not only just technologies, but also new ideas to do business. Yep. So that's who I am and what we do. Thanks.
Okay, so I'm a little surprised so many Mitsubishi related companies. And I'm not sure my talk is going to be convincing, but we'll try. So my name is Eita Kitani from Mitsubishi Corporation Americas. Just to clarify a little bit about what Mitsubishi, this hard to understand animal is. Mitsubishi used to be a single conglomerate before World War II. Probably some of you, or Mitsubishi people, should know. And but after World War II, of course, it was kind of a potential threat. The Zaibatsu was put into pieces, and National Labor came back again. And some people do misunderstand that. Oh, Mitsubishi, oh, cars. Yeah, that's a different Mitsubishi. Or hey, a TV. Oh, that's another different Mitsubishi. And seeing Mitsubishi as a single entity, but actually it's not. It's separate, like 20, more than 2 dozen separate companies listed on Tokyo Stock Exchange. And another misunderstanding is our company name Mitsubishi Corporation. It sounds like a holding company, but actually it's not. The Mitsubishi Group does not have a holding company structure. All is independent. Then what is Mitsubishi Corporation? We are a so-called trading house, Sogo Shosha. Probably many of you know. Based on our business, originally based on the trading, import-export. That's our origin of business. So that's a little information about what Mitsubishi is. And then getting to my introduction, so as Mitsubishi Corporation, I have been in the past like 17 years working as a corporate strategy development or new business creation division. Time to time when the management changed, it changes. But so like 15 years ago, I've been in the nanotech, kind of a corporate venture fund, working into new technology in the nano field. At that time, nanotechnology was kind of a post-IT bubble hope, which actually it was not exactly the same kind of technology, but at that time I have been working in the VC kind of field for like 4 or 5 years. Since then, I've been at the time the management has been changing the definition or how they handle innovation or corporate business creation development, but kind of stepped into that field and came to Silicon Valley in 2011. That time, Silicon Valley was, for Mitsubishi Corporation at least, was not an actual business location. We have been having our office here for almost 30-something years, 31 years. Time to time, the business changed, but so we started from aerospace, satellite business. We do have some, it's like Space System L'Oreal or these kind of companies here. We were to, our business were to partner with them. And after that, as history or anybody else did, semiconductor, PC, software, internet services, and clean tech, healthcare, medical device, name it. So there were some actual transaction business going on, but around 2011, most of the IT-related business was gone. So what our corporate thought about was, okay, let's send in someone general and do some research. Is this all about Silicon Valley? I don't think they didn't think it was. So send in somebody who was me as a first corporate person to come here. for Mitsubishi Corporation. I think this story is kind of familiar. Oh, we don't know about Silicon Valley, so we need to send somebody in and gather information. Okay, you go. No strategy. But at 2011, I've been here, and as there was no clear-cut kind of a target or strategy. And 3.5 years been here, and eventually there was another big trend in the United States, which was a bread and butter business for Mitsubishi Corporation, shale gas. So we moved to New York and did the entire strategy building for North America for like 2.5 years. As you know, shale gas went